Hello and good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Ideas Network 2030 online seminar for what promises to be a very timely and thought-provoking discussion. This seminar is the latest in a series hosted by the Ideas Network 2030, where we explore the defining trends shaping our world, from emerging technologies and economic disruption to questions of international security, international economics, geopolitics, and global governance. Now, our subject today could hardly be more relevant. The title of today's discussion is Trump, Tariffs, and the Death of Globalization. Are we entering a new era? Now, in recent weeks, global trade has once again been catapulted to the top of the news agenda, with the return of Donald Trump to the Oval Office and a broad range of sweeping new policies coming with him. Just a few weeks ago, the US president announced across the board what he called reciprocal tariffs, triggering an immediate market panic, large-scale sell-off in US securities and dollar-denominated assets. Now, since then, some of the measures have been rolled back pending negotiations with a number of partners to see tariffs reduced. However, a 10% universal tariff remains, as well as 25% tariffs on cars, on steel and aluminium. And as of yesterday, the president tweeting that he would like to put 100% tariff on movies, films, not produced in the US. Now, these are dramatic policy shifts which raise serious questions about the global trading system and America's role within it. Now, meanwhile, here in the UK, the EU and UK are busy negotiating what they're calling a trade reset, where they will hopefully look to announce some progress at the upcoming UK summit. And meanwhile, other countries globally are defending the international trading order. For example, today in Rome, ASEAN finance ministers, as well as South Korea and China, released a joint statement expressing their united opposition to what they described as escalating trade protectionism. Now, are we witnessing a temporary disruption or the start of a more long-term departure from the rules-based global economic order? Now, for many decades, globalization has been a defining force, lowering barriers, integrating markets, and enabling unprecedented flow of goods, capital, and services. But that model now, some argue, is under unprecedented pressure, especially in industrialized countries. So, where does this leave us? To help us unpack what all of this means for the UK, for Europe, for the US, for the global economy, I'm delighted to welcome two very distinguished and outstanding guests with us this evening. The first, Greg Hands, who is a four-time, I believe, former Minister of State for Trade Policy in the UK. I believe that's a record, Greg, as well as former Chief Secretary to the Treasury here in the UK Treasury Department, and a former chairman of the Conservative Party. Now, Greg led on free trade agreement negotiations, tariff reform, and UK engagement at the World Trade Organization, amongst other things, during his time as a trade minister. We're also delighted to have with us Penny Naas, a non-resident fellow at the Economic Council and also in charge of economic programs at the German Marshall Fund of the United States. Now, Penny began her career at the US Department of Commerce as an official, and then spent 5 years opening and running Citigroup's Brussels office, before later serving as president for international public affairs and global sustainability at UPS. So you bring a very rare combination of government business and I think global multilateral insight. So Penny, thank you for being with us this evening. We're really very grateful for your time.